Hello, WOT Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Happy Friday, July 29th, and yes, time for another store review. We're going to hop right in, make this a quick review. Here are the tanks that we're going to be talking about. We've got the Object 752, T26E5, T23E3, Turtle Mark 1, and STG for a few more days. The Schmolter and two Tier 3 light tanks here that we'll talk about. Let's go back up to the top here and scroll through all of the offers. We still have the Object 274A in crates, no charms, only a 4% drop chance. Wait this one out for the tank to come back. It was only a few months ago that we saw the Object 752 in crates only. It is already back, so if you can wait out 2 or 3 months, you're going to come back and pay a high price. We'll talk about this tank here in a second, but we know the drill. First time through on crates, sometimes we get lucky and there's charms. Sometimes we just have to wait a few months for it to come into the stores. The second time, usually for a higher price. Each time in the store, the price drops. We've got the containers super collection, and I talked about this last week, and yeah, there's some of the standard tanks in here, but like I said, they've upgraded this and put in some of the newer tanks that have come out recently. Lanson, the Object 268, Kyler, 752, Skoda T56. So some newer crates here in this bundle. The way this works is you will get one of each of these crates, and they have randomly between a 3 and I think 5% drop chance. So chances are you're not going to get a crate tank out of these crates. So again, if you like the gambling, then go for it. I did like this little bundle here on the Great Choice because it comes with a mystery certificate guaranteeing you a tank. However, there are more lower tier tanks. We'll scroll down here, or maybe I'll just do it this way. More lower tier tanks. There's a long list of tanks in here. Look at this, my God. Look at all of these tier 5s, some tier 6s. You know, so the chances are that you're going to end up with something between a 5 and an 8. But there is a nice list of the tier 10 tanks here. So if you get lucky, you can pull a nice tier 10 out of this bundle here, which is going to give you additionally 3 mega containers with a 5% drop chance of a tank, 4,000 gold for your 15 bucks plus 3 attachments. So I like this in the sense that you're getting gold, you're getting a random tank, and some additional attachments. Scrolling on down, we're not going to talk about the battle pass this month because it's only a couple more days left. Resources here. I know the feeling of starting my reroll up on the EU server and being credit poor, and the desire here to purchase credits is high. I do strongly suggest you get a nice premium tank that you like to drive that has a high credit coefficient so that you make more credits. So we'll scroll on down and let's talk about these tanks. The Object 752 Stargazer. It was interesting. I went to Blitz Stars earlier today. This right now is the second highest performing tank in the game. Was a bit surprised to see that. Tier 9. It's kind of a little bit of a different tier. It's 290 on this turret. I think that might be the big key to it, along with the fact that this is a 2-shell auto-loading tank. You've got 4 seconds between shells and a 17.7 second full clip reload. What I do like about it is 430 average damage. That's 860 damage in 4 seconds. Get yourself behind cover, hide, get through that reload. Does have a little bit of a long aim time. 8 degrees of gun depression is also very nice. So, yeah, I can see why this tank does pretty well. It looks like 38 kilometers per hour is pretty slow for a heavy tank. So that might be a little bit of a problem if you don't like driving heavy tanks. But 17,500 gold is going to get you the premium camo, which gives it the name of Stargazer, and 3 mystery boxes with a 5% tank drop chance in there. So, like I said, first time in stores for gold only is going to be a high price. 17,500 is a bit too much for this tank. But again, like I said, first time in, you're going to pay that higher price. Interesting little bundle here of American heavy tanks. Well, actually, the T-26E5 is a heavy tank, also known as the Sheriff. It's not as good as the Shark, but it does have 175% credit coefficient with it. If we take a look at some of the numbers on it, the armor on the front turret isn't quite as good as the Shark either, but you've got that American 10 degrees of gun depression, only 240 damage. And this, to me, the tank does kind of feel a little bit more medium-ish, just because it's got a higher firing gun, and it does have a little bit more speed at 40 kilometers per hour. I think the Shark does too, but it just feels a little bit more like a medium than a heavy, just in play style, I would say. And that is paired up with the T23E3, which has been around for a long time, so it's hard to really put a price on this. 3,500 by itself, I think, is still a little bit too high, to be honest with you. It is obviously a medium tank here, 160. It's got a very high firing gun. So both of these are low damage, high firing guns. 6 degrees of gun depression on American tank is a little bit surprising there, but 56 forward and 30 in reverse is one of the highest reverse speeds that I can think of. Makes this an interesting tank to play. Bundled together there, it's not a bad little deal. And we're going to get 5 X's. They do apply only to those specific tanks. Again, just so you're aware, I don't think the Sheriff is as good as the Shark, but a nice little bundle nonetheless. Moving on, we talked about this last time. If you want a little bit more info on these tanks, Turtle Mark 1 is very team dependent. It is a good tank destroyer from an armor perspective because it doesn't have that giant, enormous commander's cupola on the front. So if you can get this thing into the nice positions, it can be pretty defensive and take a lot of shots, bouncing them. The gun is fairly decent, but again, 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 kilometers per hour is your top speed, makes this tank just kind of a little bit painful to play, in my opinion. And then we talked about the STG last week. 7,000 gold for a tier 8 premium tank is pretty good, but this tank comes with a lot of difficulties in my mind. It is very low profile, and you don't have much gun depression with this tank. 5 degrees of gun depression, only 17 up, to be honest with you, comes into play also. It's got a big gun, so you don't necessarily have to be on target a lot, but 400 average damage, but accuracy at 0.36 dispersion is not great either. So this is a much more difficult medium tank to play, in my opinion, and would probably fit more into the collector. These both would, to me, fit more into the collector person than a good tank that you want to pull out to earn credits. The Schultrum here is a fun tank, in my opinion. Again, if you can get used to the name of the tank, meaning narrow turret, if you can get this thing hull down, the German guns are usually very accurate, and this one is no exception. 0.3 dispersion without any equipment. 160 average damage, reload time of 4.7 damage per minute, 2,000. So To me, the speed on it for a medium tank is a little bit on the low side. I guess the power to weight ratio 16 is not great, so it takes a while to get up to top speed. But I did enjoy playing this tank, and this is a tank that, I will pull out from time to time to play. So to get everything in here, including 14 days of premium time and 10 5x boosters that you can use on your tech tree tanks for 3,500 gold is a good deal. And then as far as the best deal for gold per dollar is going to be this light tank little bundle here at tier 3. You can spend $3, play these tanks a little bit, and turn around and sell them there for 1,800 gold. 600 gold per dollar for a small investment is quite good. So we talked about all of the everything else in here last week, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the rest of this. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. We have realistic battles going on very soon. And again, stay safe out there. Have fun. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger, out.